Greetings, everyone. I'm Tony Garcia here at the Cozy Book Nook. I'm here for another author interview. Today, I'm joined by Jessica Booth. Jessica, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having
How
me.
was how was the drive? Where you come from?
I'm coming up from Cincinnati, so not a bad drive at all.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your book. So, I mean, you had quite a few, so we only have the two here. These are the two newest ones?
Well, so this is my very first one.
Oh, okay.
And by far my most popular. And then this is my Christmas book. My newest one is actually a St. Patrick's Day novella.
Okay.
That came out this past March. And then before that, I had a Mardi Gras book.
Nice.
So
nice. And so how many books total do you have?
I have 4 full lengths and 1 novella,
okay.
and then I have a short story collection that's going to come out at the end of the year.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Short stories are fun. After I wrote my first novel, I kind of went down to short stories because it took me 10 years to write the one novel.
Yeah.
Obviously, you write much faster,
yeah.
but to me, it's like I'm not going to get many stories out if I just write one a year every decade. So, short stories are a great way to hone your craft.
They're a lot of fun.
Some of the stories that maybe not just big enough for full length,
Exactly.
but still kind of like keep you actively writing too.
Yeah, and it's a good challenge as a writer to try something a little different formats. So,
so I mean, we're doing a Christmas in July. That's why we kind of went with the Christmas theme today. But kind of tell me a little bit about like maybe how you got into how your writing journey started.
Sure. So. I was a book lover from teeny tiny kid.
Love it.
Absolutely. And I had big dreams and aspirations of becoming a book editor one day. And I ended up pursuing professional writing for my degree.
Okay.
And ended up in the magazine world for a while. But always loved reading books, and I built up a pretty big bookstagram platform and started reviewing a lot, and COVID hit. And I was like, I feel like people just wake up one day and say, I want to write a book.
Yeah.
So I was like, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
So it started as it was something I always wanted to do. I had 4 kids in a short amount of time, wasn't able to, and then COVID hit, and I had time on my hands. I was like, let me give it a try. So I wrote A Match Made in Autumn first, and I started that one just by listing like all my favorite things out. Stephanie Garber, who wrote the Carnival series, I heard her say that once. Like that's how she was inspired to write. It's like, I'm going to make a list of all my favorite things. So this one, when I pitch it, I always say it's like pumpkin spice in book form. It is pumpkin spice lattes and fall festivals and corn mazes and mystery and Halloween. So
my favorite season.
Mine too.
Get it.
Yeah, mine too. So that's how my first one came about. And it did pretty well. And then I discovered that once I figured out that I could write a book, it became easier to write more books.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Now, and of course, you went the self-publishing route.
I did.
How you find that? How you find that? We specialize in indie authors.
Yeah, which I'm
I feel like that's the biggest trend now. And this is back around, you said around, what, 2020, 2021?
Yeah, about 2020, yeah. I did query for a while, so I went the approach of like trying to go trad. I had a lot of interest and a lot of weird, like I got pretty far down the path on a couple ones, and then I finally just was like, it's not working with the market, or it's not, and I just kind of got to a point where I was like, I think I'm tired of like having my heart broken over this. I'm just going to give it a try.
Yeah.
So I'm also a graphic designer, so I did my own cover.
Oh,
I
got that's always comes in helpful.
Yeah, and I had an editor. She really helped me shape the story and like kind of learn some really important lessons about writing. And fortunately, in the Cincinnati area, we have tons of local bookstores who are very supportive. And at the time, I had become friends with Sierra, who is now the owner of the Bookery over in the Columbia-Tusculum area of Cincinnati. We met through Bookstagram.
Love it.
She was getting ready to start a bookstore. I was about to publish my first book, and she helped me. We worked together, and like she helped me launch my first book and did the pre-order campaign and all that. So I felt like that's kind of how I started getting my name out there, and that in my Bookstagram platform. So
very nice.
I was very fortunate that I had these kind of built-in support systems when we launched it, and it's been a lot of fun.
I feel like around the 2020, I feel like you had two groups of people: the ones that learned to make bread, and those that delve in and started working on their craft. So a lot of writers. And then I gave a talk not too long ago for a local organization at a library about getting your books on bookshelves. So I come from a unique perspective of being an indie author, but also now I'm a bookseller. And one of the things I mentioned is like you can't even be an indie bookstore unless you have indie books, like because it's part of community. It's like it's like,
community.
and so at this point, it's really a good time to be in. Like I've published my first book was in 2015, and I might talk about the different trends that we kind of went through. One of them was how it was a stigma around that time. All the way up to about 2020, it was still kind of a stigma, kind of looked down on as being an independently published authors. But now, like I said, you can't be an indie bookstore without having indie books in there, and a lot of traditionally published publishing companies are looking for already established, successful authors, because then they don't have to take a risk. Now they're taking a risk on a new author. Now they have one that's already got a fan base, and growing that.
And I have found that a lot of traditionally published books chase the trends that indie authors are setting, because indie authors, I mean, I could hypothetically write a book and publish it tomorrow. Now that's the reality. It's not the case. Yeah, we do editing, we do covers, we do art teams, we do all the media build up for that. But I mean, you can turn them very quickly, whereas a traditionally published book takes 2 years. Yeah, and so what happens is these indie books start setting the trends, and like you said, and then they get popular, and then the traditional starts trying to grab them up because they already have an audience, they already have a following, and
it's a business.
It is. It is a business. It is a business.
And the thing is, too, I think I think a lot behind the scenes of going traditionally has been kind of exposed. Yes. So some of the behind the curtain things have kind of shown people the realization of, you may get an advance, $5, $10, $15, $20,000, but now you realize, you don't get any more royalties until you make that up first. And then it comes down to how popular you are. You should probably still do your own marketing. You do. You still have to do a lot of times your own, still get in indie bookstores and do your own signings and stuff. So I think a lot of that has come down to where I can actually publish what I want now. And of course, you have the whole, when you work with publishers, they're going to pick what's popular, what's going to sell, and you need to change your book to fit that mold. Exactly. Or you can be in like an art. It's almost like being an artist, like, this is what I created, this is what I want to present. Yes. And then that way you can kind of just be free to create whatever you want, and still have to do your marketing and stuff like that. But,
and you still have to do all the legwork of like figuring out your cover. How much do you want to spend on editing? How much do you want to spend on marketing? How do you want to market? There's a lot that goes into it. So I feel like it's easy to say, I can just publish it, but it's both routes. I respect a lot. Both routes take a lot of work. Both routes you have to do your own marketing for the most part. So it's a lot.
So getting into social media, you mentioned like book talk and stuff. I think what's a lot of authors struggle with, is doing the social media.
It is. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Having a bookstore, we have, say on TikTok, we have like 1,800. On Facebook, like 4.7. But as an author, I have like 200. on my Instagram and social are all like 100 and some. Yeah. And then my wife, who's a book talk, she talks about books in general, has like 11,000.
Amazing.
It's like,
good for her.
It's like, so I've noticed over time, like the different groups, like as an author, it's the hardest.
It is
to like promote your book. And when I gave the same talk, I talked about how you want to mix up your content.
Yes.
Because otherwise you just become an ad if all you do is talk about your book. So how have you found to navigate? Like I've seen some of your posts, and like even for this event, and just remarkable work. You went above and beyond when it comes to like
that graphic
the graphics you do. I tell you. I love it.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I found that to be the case too. I do think that you do have to continue to beat the drum about yourself, because I will say in my day job I work in branding, which has helped, right? So the rule with branding is you have to see it 100 times for it to stick. So I do think that there is a lot of value in tooting your own horn constantly, even though it may feel weird or feel awkward. But I do agree that you have to like mix up content and like what makes it interesting. I follow a lot of other successful indie authors and kind of see what they're doing. Just this year, so I've been publishing for a while now, and just this year I finally was able to hire somebody to help me a little bit with some of the social media and the newsletter stuff, because I do work full time. And that has helped me a lot. It's just because it is so time consuming, and I mean I still do a lot of my own, but coming up with the creative and like, okay, what's this going to look like, and what's the pitch going to look like, and what's working and what's trending. I mean, it's a lot to keep up with, but it's trying to figure out a schedule has helped me a little bit.
So as an author, as you're starting to bring, people to start, taking some of that off that load off. How's it work as far as like, it's a great relief, or it's like I love it, but at the same time I'm terrified.
I was very lucky. So the person that I have helping me, her name's Chandler. She's great. She's a bookstagrammer, and she has a great following, a big platform. She has a lot of experience with social media. She's a stay-at-home mom who was like looking for ways ways to like utilize what like her personal knowledge to. And we just talked for a while, and I talked to her like over a year before that. I'm like, if I ever get to this point, it'd be great. And so we finally did. And it's a lot of, because we have a great, friendship and professional relationship. I'm able to say, okay, I need help with these newsletters. Here's kind of what I'm thinking. And she'll just take it and build it. She's like, okay, look at it. So we have a very good like exchange where she comes up with the ideas, but I have final say on everything. Yeah. And she's very open to feedback. Good. So, and it's kind of hard for me as somebody who has been a graphic designer for a lot of my career to let her build some of these graphics because I want to tweak everything. Like, I'm like, it's not quite balanced. The color pattern's not, like there's a lot of that, but it's been more than anything. It's been a huge relief. Good. I'm a mom. I'm a full-time worker, so any kind of help from me is a big relief now.
I feel like as long as you got that, that connection, it's like you need as a team to grow a team, and any the same thing I did at talk again. Selling books as a business, like it's like you're an author, you have to think of it as a business. Your goal is to sell your books. You have to, not necessarily write what people want because you're an artist, but at the same time you want to ensure that the people are seeing what they want.
And you have to market.
They like to be entertained. They like to. Every social media is different on what to do. Instagram's photo, TikTok's short video, Facebook's more community. So it's like you almost have to change your tactics.
And then that newsletter, which is like a constant drumbeat for your fans. Yeah, it's definitely a lot, but I see a direct correlation. So like most indie authors have to use Better for Worse Kindle Unlimited because it's where we get a lot of our readers. But like I can tell when I'm doing like hard marketing because those page reads will pop up, and as soon as I like take a break, tank. So it is a direct correlation, at least in digital content. I will say though, I was able, both of the books that are here, Match Made in Autumn and The Spike Before Christmas, are now an audiobook.
Oh wow! Yeah,
congratulations
on that. That is the next step. I feel like authors need to start taking that.
I mean, it's the biggest format there is right now, and
I
did not. A lot of people are, will get an agent or lucky enough to get like a podium deal or a Dreamscape deal. I did fund mine myself. But like with the understanding that like I'm not doing the next one till one pays out. Autumn paid out very quickly. I was very, very lucky. And then I did Christmas one, and I did like being able to like my narrators auditioned, and we like had a good working relationship with them. And again, as being that indie author, I got to pick the voices, the format. So this one's dual, so he reads the guys' chapters, she reads the girls. This one's in duet, so he reads all. And I decided, I was like, okay, that's the trend now. It costs a little bit more, but he's going to read all the male lines, she's going to read all the female lines. And I went wide with them, which means not Audible exclusive. So you can find
which is I think as an indie author, it's almost like taking a stance, at this point. One, to be open to more markets, because we use Libro.fm,
Libro,
which supports, and one of the frustrating things for us when things are, Audible exclusive. I almost feel like indie authors are like, while we may like even use Amazon for printing, it's almost like we support local, like even as indie authors.
And it also supports the library, which I am a big fan of and a big supporter of. So I've seen a lot of conversation in the indie space lately about, if you borrow my book, I'm not making money. I want to be clear. I think the library is amazing.
Absolutely.
And it is absolutely like people find out about your books in ways that like they would have never, if they see them, up on a display, if they see them on the shelf, and especially in those audiobook formats, because both of these are available on Hoopla and Libby. So you can check them out. Every time you check out a book, it helps an indie author make money. It's great. Like I can't say enough great things, and I love being wide with my audio. That's what they call it, going wide. So beyond Audible with these audiobooks.
Yeah, and I feel like that's another thing that almost like just like 5 years ago wasn't really a thing. Like, audiobooks were traditionally published books were an audio. It's almost like a standard for them. But for indie authors, it wasn't even a thing that we even really thought about. It's like just getting our books out. But now it's almost become where if you have it's always been, if we have it in physical form, we should have it on digital too. Now it's getting like you need it on all three. You need it on that as well
and
too.
I get a lot of feedback like, well, why don't you have all your books on audio? I want them all. I'm like, it is so expensive to produce an audiobook. Worth it. It's an investment, but like I have to have one pay out before I can fork over thousands for another one. So.
and when it goes to like the library, I mean, I think it's, as an artist, it's more about getting your books in the hands of readers, and touching somebody, as opposed to having it, sit on the shelf, collecting dust for someone who only has enough money to pay for it. And library, there's and not just this economic, but any economic situation, you're always going to have people that just don't have the money to invest in books that they're not familiar with.
Yes.
So libraries are a great opportunity to go read books that you like, and if it's one that you really enjoy, then you can get what's called a book trophy. Then you can go buy and put it on
Trophy
your shelf.
copy.
Exactly. Yes. Because people do that with audiobooks too. They listen to the audiobook and they go buy the book for
do that all the time.
And it's amazing now because now people are like seeing it like multiple formats. Special editions come out, they're buying that. So. But I love it's all about giving people opportunities to get their hands on your book,
Absolutely.
And I think that's really refreshing and motivating when people come and say, "Oh, you're Jessica Booth."
Yeah,
it's like I read
it's
this
always
book.
such a surprise when it happens. It's so lovely. Yeah.
And so you've been doing the circuit for a while, as far as some of these book cons and stuff. You're gonna be part of our Dayton Book Fest.
Can't wait.
Our inaugural year. Can be exciting, terrifying at the same time.
You guys are gonna do
but
great.
we're so
You're
excited. But doing the circuit. I've only dabbled. I've only like the Mid Ohio is the only one I do every year as an author. But tell us about your experiences as far as getting out and meeting the general public,
it's the best.
meeting people that don't even know who you are, that you have that 3-minute elevator pitch, and then people that come back.
Yeah, it is. I have been so grateful, both like in terms of like the con community and the local bookstore community, because you're out there and your audience is coming directly to you, and they want to be there. People who come to most of the cons that I do are there to support indie authors, or they're there to support local vendors, so they want to be there.
Right.
And I try to just make people feel comfortable. Like, you don't hey, I want to talk to you about my book, but don't feel like you have to buy it.
Right,
I mean, sure, it'd be great. And I also always you can find it at the library, you can find it on Hoopla. But I have gotten to know some of the most wonderful people through book cons. People who have become very loyal readers, people who look for a new book when it comes out now, and I do hit a lot of the same ones, so I always try to have a new book on the table every year. But the community, the reader community, the fellow author community is so supportive, so lovely, so wonderful. I've met some of my best friends who are authors, who are readers turned authors, who are readers, and it's such a great, I feel like Ohio is a book a treasure of a book community.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
So I'm from Louisiana originally. I've been in Ohio a little over 7 years.
Okay. And
from the northern part of Louisiana, and there's nothing like what we have in this area. Nothing like it. Yeah. It's amazing.
So I forgot where I was going with the community. So when we talk to authors all the time, there's if you go traditional publishing, you have a team. You have graphic designers, editors, marketers. But when you're indie author, you have a community. Yes. You have people that want to help you succeed. But it's not just one person or one team; it's a whole community that has back. And I love for this particular event, Christmas in July, it was Amy Tackett who reached out to us. Hey, I have a Christmas book. How about a Christmas in July thing? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. He's like, hey, I got a couple of authors that also have Christmas themed books. So I think it'd be fun to reach out to and stuff. And I love that when we have events and stuff, authors are reaching out to each other. Oh, you got to go check out. We have this event going on.
And you guys, by the way, have a great reputation in
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's reputation is so important to us at holding that high level, but we really do have that passion for supporting local, and I think that, and it's genuine, so I think a lot of people kind of see that. But when we had our first bookstore, it was all about giving the indie authors their that whole movie book signing event. We had I asked about a podium. The idea was we go up there and talk, and then we did 3 indie author signings a week. But and we were excited. We thought people would be oh, it's an author signing. Can't wait to have these people come in. But then we started realizing, okay, so they don't know who they are. Yeah. They're a lot of times not going to be coming in, but we started really honing that because it's really important to us to make a positive experience for the authors as well as the readers. So we started creating events that with guest author, and now we do it mostly on Saturdays for the busiest foot traffic to help sales. And then now that we have so many, now we're able to move into a book fest. Where now we're able to bring it in, but even with that, we wanted to make sure the experience was good for both. We topped out at 50. We didn't, we probably could have got easily 100 authors that would love. We still have people reaching out to get on and it breaks our heart to say no. Yeah. But even with the selection that we had, we did curate a little bit too. We wanted to make sure the reader experience was good, so we went through and make sure there's only so many in the genres.
I was going to say you do have a really good genre mix,
and that was the idea. We didn't want to just have his first come first serve. But we also, because it's a business, we took a look. We took a look at their social medias, took a look at their books, covers and stuff. Make sure, see what kind of, what kind of following, how good quality their books looked and stuff. We really wanted to make sure the readers had a good experience, especially being the inaugural year.
Yes.
But it's so important in when you do the con stuff, how your displays.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, so, and this is embarrassing, and I don't know if I showed the story online or not, but so my first book was technically a fitness book. I was a personal trainer.
Oh, okay.
And it was a weight loss for the rest of us. So the book was gray. Like all gray with like black or white writing. And so the first time I did a signing was like, it was 2010 when it came out. It was like shortly after. I did a Christmas bazaar. And so I go there they give me a 6-foot table. I do a black tablecloth with my gray books. No decorations at all. And then so you go in there and you have all these Christmas decorated crafts, trees, everything bright, colorful. You just have this gray spot. Needless to say, I did not sell any books. I think I gave one away, but it was like my first introduction to best foot forward, making sure that when you put these tables together, that they're beautiful. We're actually going to have a competition at the book fest.
Oh, nice! That'll be fun.
for best looking tables.
Amazing displays.
They are coming a long way.
I know. I always feel like I have to up my game always, but it's a good thing.
It is.
It's good marketing. It's good branding. You got to get your look down.
I feel because of that, the bar has definitely gotten raised.
Oh yes.
We've had even now, with authors, covers are so important. And yours absolutely are beautiful.
Thank you.
But not just because of the artwork, but the colors.
I love colors.
We have so many authors. I'm guilty of this too. With some of my books, they're all black.
Yeah.
And mine do have text on the spine, but there's so many out there that don't have any words on the spine. And you got to remember, authors, that your book's going to be 90% of the time sideways on the shelves. So make sure you have some on the spine. But so many are black and white. But if you look at the nutrition publics, they're always bright colors and stuff.
I get a lot of compliments on the colors.
It's very
which I love. I think it's fun, and like I said, I'm fortunate to have a graphic design background and love the pop of color. And I think that the darker books can be done well too. But it's all about how you market yourself and position yourself and what kind of books you're writing, and your cover says a lot about what's inside. So it's important.
One thing that I don't think they keep in mind too is that especially if you say you upload and print through Amazon, you can always re-upload, change what you need to change. Like I just ordered new copies of that book that was all black. Now each volume has a different color.
Very nice.
Because I'm very slow. So it's slowly learned that over years that I need to up my game as well, because I mostly switched over to being a bookseller now. So I don't focus on my writing a lot. But even I've learned just now being a bookseller, it's like now I see why things are the way they are, and I've been watching the trends as people go up and look at books, the ones they're drawn to, and it is the ones that are just like, obviously this is like fall, look at it's like orange, but look at that side with the the blues, it's just one of those things when you walk into a room, captivates your eyes. And with the bar being raised so much, it's only going higher and higher as you have authors coming out. But I think that's important because the higher quality indie books that you get, the less they can look, snub their nose at,
absolutely.
I remember when they first started doing Create Space, there were people on there that would have these YouTube videos like how to upload a book in an hour. And they just copy and paste all these different things. It was how-to books. And they would upload them and sell them for $24.99. So it really was flooded with a lot of crap when the books first started doing that. But I feel now when it comes to indie authors, they're because some really hone their skills. Graphic designers really pay attention to how good their books look. They took it at, it's a business.
Yes,
this is my art. This is me. That I think that that's really kind of motivated other authors to say, hey, look, if you want to be successful in this, you've got to be up to par.
I agree, and I think in particular the romance genre and the romantasy genre, there's you look around at what other books are coming out, what other books are doing well, and especially in my genre, which is I write small town romance, so it's the colorful, cutesy books are what people want. So
people got to know what they're buying,
and
because readers can also quickly turn if they buy a book expecting one thing,
and it's not that,
and it's not what they're expecting at all. Cover looks like it's a fantasy, but it's actually like a sci-fi, or a romance, or it looks like romance, but it's actually like a horror. So it's like a cute little farm picture, and all of a sudden it's a lot of blood, and then Lord of the Flies, or
what is
the
happening?
Corn. I was not prepared. I got it from my grandma, and it is not what I was expecting. But so you're out there. You've got to like just present yourself at these book cons. You got to be online. Now, are you on those social medias? Are you?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram and TikTok primarily.
Okay.
I do have Facebook. I'm not quite as active on there because I feel like my target audience is largely on the other two platforms.
As a business, Facebook works.
Yeah.
You can create event stuff, but as an author,
Yeah, I'm much more successful on the other two platforms, especially because I started on Instagram kind of doing the bookstagram thing. And I do have a separate account for that, but I just know that platform better. But I've gotten on TikTok because that's where a lot of your Kindle Unlimited readers are. And so just learning that space a little bit more. It's grateful for it. That's how we get the word out about our books that you couldn't have, before. So
just a couple of tips you can give some of our authors out there that are struggling like on Instagram.
Sure.
Because Instagram is about images.
It is all about images.
It's not about text or community like Facebook. It's not about a video and talking.
Yeah.
This is you have a picture.
You have a picture.
This is what people are going to see. They're not going to read most of the time. What's underneath? They're going to look at
Caption.
that
Well,
unless it captures
if you have a good. They will if you have a good picture.
Yes,
To me, again, it's all about good branding. It's all about establishing who you are with your imagery. When I did hire somebody to help me, I gave her a brief on my brands, and I know that this is again somebody who does this professionally. But if you're looking into it, figure out what colors and fonts work for you that say who you are. If I look at a picture, I want to immediately know who that author is.
Yes.
And then what do people want to see? Look and see what other indie authors are doing. What do successful indie authors, what do their feeds look like? There's a lot of character art. There's a lot of quotes. There's a lot of highlighted texts from ebooks. There's covers. There's tropes. I mean, so you kind of, at least for me, I've gone through and figured out, okay, what sells the book? What are people liking? And I've also learned that just because somebody likes or engages with your post does not equal book sales or book reads. So, you have to entice people. You have to make them still want to read it. And sometimes that is just something fun and goofy to make them come to your page, but how do you make them stay? So it's digging into your tropes and your quotes and, collaborating on different things and kind of the good thing with social media, there's immediate feedback. So
yes, they are.
Figure out what works and doesn't work pretty quickly. So
and it's good to have and that's what really kind of comes up to the whole fan base. It's like you want people excited about your next book before it even comes out, and I think that's what a lot of authors struggle with is getting that fan base out. So when they come out with a new book, that you already have a certain level of people who are just can't wait to see where.
And I will add to that, engagement really helps.
It
so
does,
with people, when people comment, make sure you comment back. Engage with your readers on their platforms. It can be a lot of work, but once you start to build your community, it becomes a lot of fun.
Yes.
And once I feel like, especially for indie authors, a lot of the readers become very loyal. Yeah. And you build the community and it becomes very enjoyable.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It's good to have just a whole community behind you is excited about the things that you're doing. Exactly. And that's probably the goal of most of the authors is to have that to where people are just I know who you are now and I love the work that you do like an artist and I love your opinions. So what's on the horizon for Jessica Booth? I know you got some short stories you're working on.
Yeah, so I've got I've got a bunch of events at the end of the year. Of course,
the Day Book Fest.
I'll be at Cozy and Bookish in Miami, Spurred.
In November, I believe.
In November, and Toledo Romance Con in November, and then I'll be at Pages of Glass August 1st up in Toledo as well. I've got a short story collection that's going to be coming out at the end of the year. I have another book that's already written that has been kind of floating in and out of literary agent hands for over a year that I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with. Right. But it's got a little magic in it, which I'm really excited to kind of try my hand.
Yeah.
It's still romance primarily, but with some magic in it. So those are kind of the next things coming up for me, and then hopefully another audiobook. And hopefully the Christmas one will pay out this year, and then I can get the next audiobook.
Love it. Love it. Well, we're excited to see the work that you come out. We're excited to finally get your books on our shelves. One thing I love about doing the book signings and these events and having the authors come in is that it gives us a chance to grab your books.
We'll be at
we're
grateful for it.
We'll be at the Mid-Ohio on August 8th.
Great.
And Lisa, who runs it, lets us talk up there, and we always introduce ourselves. First thing we do is if you're here, if you're already on our shelves, raise your hand. Now it's already 50% of the people raise their hands. Now it's so the rest of you, if you're too far away, you want to get your books down, we always bring tons of bins with us. Let's get some books down. And then we have that influx of new indie authors because I don't know if you've seen the room upstairs, but definitely take a look. It's got their own room and their own reading room now.
That's amazing.
And people can just go up there. It's got a couch in there. It's just good.
Such a great space.
Yeah, I know. People just love being in the house in general. But now it's like being able to go sit down, look at indie books, give them the attention, of looking through and just walking down with 3 or 4 indie books. We go through probably 65 to 85 indie books
amazing.
a month.
I can't wait to go dig.
I know. It always makes us feel amazing.
This is the problem with also being a reader and a fan. It's like I go and sell books, but always come home with so many.
Yes, I get it. We're a bookstore. Now I'm the slowest reader. I'm an IT, so I do most of the social media and the website stuff. But my wife and other 2 teammates. They're big readers, so they like. I'm sitting there sometimes like, do you have this book or what's about? I'm sitting there glazed over, but they can just go right in.
I love it.
And talk. But yeah, and then they end up buying. We buy our own supply a lot, so it's like, the money we make in the business, we put right back in the business in the form of buying books.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Coming to our Christian July. It's very nice to finally meet you. But looking forward to having you at the Dayton Book Fest.
It's gonna be a great time.
That's gonna be a great fun event for everybody, I think. If I have hair afterwards, I think we'll be ready to start planning our next one. Yeah, we got this. Yeah. My wife and I make an amazing team. I think that's very important too. That when you own a business together, to be have that collaborative.
Absolutely.
But it's so great that you guys made it in here. I'm so glad that we had had the opportunity to have you come in and this event. And thank you everybody who joined us. Sorry if you're on Facebook and stuff, we didn't really be able to answer questions because you're like this tiny right now, and it's very hard to see. We're not at the point yet where we have somebody moderate it, But we're gonna get there eventually. People ask questions, we'll be able to answer them. But thank you so much for joining us. Listen to another author interview, and don't forget to check out all of our socials, which we'll have in the link below. And join us next time as we interview another awesome indie author. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks for having me.